gentlemen, right now we welcome back to the PWE Report, the Conduit of Kharma, Kaia Mckenna. And make sure to check her out. She's a graduate of the Black and Brave Academy, currently is the Wrestlemax Women's Champion for 82 days as we
I
speak.
am.
Yes, congrats for that. And we know that you're from Maryland originally, and you've also made your way out to Davenport, Iowa.
Yes, of course, for training. And then after I completed my training, it was easier to get a start in the Midwest than to,
For sure.
you're already there. You might as well just kind of get a lay of the land.
Definitely. I know, Second Wrestling was this past Sunday, and you had a good time. I know we saw your match with Shelly Benson, and there'll be other matches coming up. I know you said March 15th you have a match, I believe, the Clash at Cedar Point against Leah Knight. Yeah.
First time matchup. Leah is a powerhouse. She is very intense. It's going to be a very tough matchup, and I am so looking forward to it. I love opponents that challenge me like physically as well as like the mental game as well. So I'm very excited about wrestling Leah. I can't wait.
Yes, yes. And you also have the Gabby Forza at Focus Wrestling.
Yes, I am wrestling Gabby Forza at Focus Pro in Braintree, Massachusetts, which is outside of Boston. I have never wrestled Gabby in a singles. I've been in a triple threat with her, so I'm very excited to get a singles match with her. Again, you want to talk about opponents that are just very like physically imposing and strong. It's like a challenge for me, you know.
For sure.
It's different. I'm used to being the biggest, strongest person, and like I'm taller than Gabby, but like I am definitely not stronger than her. So I'm gonna have to go to the playbook here, go to the grimoire, and see how I can squash a gnome.
I know, she's like a juggernaut, just like Jordan Grace.
Last time we wrestled, she speared me, and she speared me so hard I bounced through the bottom middle rope into the row of chairs.
Oh
like,
my goodness.
She is so intense.
Oh, wow.
It's hard to even prepare for an opponent like that. You know, you just have to stay very focused and weather the storm.
For sure. Well, I want to know how you're doing. And you're one of my favorite people that I've had on PWE, Kaia. So it's so glad to have you on.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad we're finally getting a chance to talk. I know we've been trying to get this interview on the books for a few weeks, but it's been a hectic winter for everyone. So I'm glad that I'm finally here. And I'm glad I finally got to come back to the Midwest and wrestle for you all at Second Wrestling this past weekend. I missed all of the fans in the Midwest so much. You guys were very kind to me when I first started, so it was great to come back to like my second home.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. We'd love to see you in the ring, and even if you're just around, we'd love to see you as well, you know?
Yeah, I love to hang out. I love wrestling, whether I'm watching it or watching it, so.
Yeah, I know we had seen you at GCW a couple of years ago, but it's been a while, so.
Yeah, when I was rehabbing my injury, I did a lot of backstage help at GCW, mainly to just stay around the business and still see my friends, because when you're out hurt, you don't, you're sitting in your house and you're like, oh, I'm sad now. I'm stuck in my house and what do I do? And it was really, really nice that they extended me the opportunity to be a part of their team for that year while I was rehabbing and just kind of keep me in front of people and keep me in front of you guys. So forever grateful to Brett for that little opportunity when I was healing.
Yes, for sure. I would love to see you wrestle for them one day. I know there's a lot of people that want to be there, but
I have had a match for GCW before. I wrestled Hollydead at GCW.
Yes.
And I was also a participant in the Bunkhouse Brawl at GCW. I brought a broom and I broke it on Steve Scott's nutsack. Great. You got to bring the best weapon, right, to a bunkhouse brawl. And I'm a witch, so if I don't bring a broom, I'm messing up. Like, I just have to. I don't make the rules. Make the rules.
No, that's perfect. That just fits you so well. And yeah, and I wanted to, start off by asking you, like, the past couple of years, your career in pro wrestling has evolved, and you're on these platforms like IWTV. So how do you feel that drives your success?
It drives your success because it puts pressure on you. I would probably say before IWTV, before streaming, before YouTube, there was a lot of opportunity to have matches that nobody ever saw. And then you could suck and you could get better and it was okay because nobody saw you sucking. The pressure of media being the way it is now makes you want to be on top of your game all the time because you never know who's going to see what with everything being so widely available. So there's definitely a new layer of pressure with all of the streaming platforms, but I love that it gives content and it gives access to your matches to fans that may not be able to come out and see you in person. So it's like there's positives, but it also changes the game a little bit,
For sure. I feel that way as well. I have an interesting idea. What do you think about this? Would you like? There's an IWTV championship. I don't know if that's an intergender. I think it's strictly
It
men,
is.
right?
It
Oh, it
is.
is
I know Megan
intergender.
Bain has challenged for it. And so
Okay.
has Becca, I believe.
Well, would you be? What would you think of the opportunity if they had a IWTV Women's Championship? Because there's a lot of the promotions they don't have a women's division currently.
I would love that because I think women's wrestling is so special, and I think women's championships are super special and definitely have a place in this business. I think that
Yes.
there are plenty of championships that any gender can compete for, and that's also incredible. But I love the idea of there being a women's championship across the board. I think any promotion that has depth in the women that they are utilizing would benefit from having a women's championship and running some storylines with the women because I
Yeah.
just, in my humble opinion, think women are very creative. I think we're great entertainers. We tell great stories, and our
Hmm.
personalities are just so much larger and translate so well onto crowds. And it's such a missed opportunity to not have a women's division and a women's championship at your place.
Yeah, and I feel like being it with IWTV, it could travel, right?
Yeah, that would definitely be a concept. I mean, I know that's the idea that the IWTV champion will make
Mhm.
belt defenses at other promotions that stream on IWTV, correct? So
Right.
you could defend it at Beyond, you could defend it at Action, you could defend it at Dreamwave, wherever.
Yes.
I would love that. I think that would be so cool if they had a women's championship, but I also
Yeah.
love that they are not afraid to let women challenge for their overall championship. I think
Okay.
that's cool too.
Cool. Well, I guess
But
they'll
why
be
not
all
both?
comers.
Why not both?
For sure. For sure. And what did you think of your match with Shelly? I mean, talk about the bombshell. Did you know anything about her before you had this matchup?
I have. I've squared off with Shelly before in multi-woman matches, but never in a singles. So that was
Okay.
a first time experience for me. I know that she brings a lot of antics, and that can be very distracting. And no matter how hard I tried to stay focused, she did eventually distract me at the end. And I kind of got a full head of steam and I wasn't focused. I had lost my focus. I was letting all of that frustration drive my thought, and I came up a little shorthanded, but there will be a next time, and you can guarantee I will be extremely focused, and I will be walking away with the win.
Yes, and
I
she's a
will
staple
crush
here in
her and throw
Chicago.
her out into the crowd.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
done with it.
Yeah, she's a staple in Chicago. Also, she's working in Florida too. So you
Yeah,
never
I've
know.
seen her in Florida. When I go down
Okay.
there, I work for Shine.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yep.
Great.
I love that Shine still runs. It's such a good web. We were just talking about women's promotions,
Yes.
women's championships. I love that Shine still runs and creates a lot of opportunity for women. And I love to see other women wrestlers, even my adversaries, branching out and getting their names out there. I think that's really great.
Yes. Same here. The more we have those promotions, the better.
Yes.
And I feel like I enjoyed the bad girl vibe you shared. I feel like
I
you
think it's
shared
called
it.
Good Witch, Bad Bitch.
Yes. I
Yeah.
feel like you and Maggie Lee, you're both from BXB. I dare say you both could make an interesting duo as well one day, no?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I've always been the good witch and I am still a good witch at heart, but there
Hmm.
are many ways witches come into their power, correct? Some witches are born into their power. I was born into power. I am a familial witch. Some witches are gifted their power through other witches. Nobody wanted to gift me anything, so guess what? This witch is taking her power this year. It's
Hmm.
mine. I am
For
definitely going
sure.
to ascend and come into my own, whether you guys like it or not. It's happening.
Definitely. And what do you think of Maggie Lee's attitude? Like seeing it grown, and now she's the Dreamwave Women's Champion from where she started.
I really admire the amount of hard work that Maggie puts in, and I admire her athleticism, but she does not have my witchy smarts. I am
Okay.
crafty. Pure magic is something that you're just born with. Much like athletic talent, I'm just born with my magic, and you can't teach magic. So we each have our gifts. They're a little bit different. I
Yes.
respect hers. Hopefully, she respects mine. Um, it's been wild to see her trajectory, right?
Right.
I'm really happy that she's found the success she's found.
Yeah. Same here. And it's just a night and day compared to when she started till now. It seems like so. Your social media presence. Talk about that. You do you like being consistent with your brand online, kind of, delivering little videos and promos and stuff like that?
I do. I really like being able to interact with my fans through my social media platforms. when I first started during the pandemic, it was a great way for me to connect and build a fan base, even though there weren't as many shows. When I was injured, it was a great way for me to stay in touch with my fans. And as I've mounted my comeback and come into my own, it has been great to take them along for the ride and make it easy for them to access all of my content and my dates. So I really love social media. I kind of garnered my following when spaces were very big, and I would host a space called the Witching Hour, and it was just basically me occupying myself on these
Mhm.
long drives I was doing solo. But I got to meet and connect with a lot of really great fans and people through those spaces, and I might have to bring them back someday soon.
For sure.
That was really what started it, and I'm so grateful that I have such supportive fans, because when I look at my posts, when I look at my photos, when I look at my clips, it's fans that are watching them and fans that are enjoying them and fans that are interacting with them. And I think there's something special about that, to have such an invested fan base, you know?
For sure. For sure. And you're
I mean, I like,
consistent with it.
not that I don't like, I mean, yeah, you like when other wrestlers like your stuff, right? Like that feels
Right.
good too. But I really think there's something special that most of my engagement comes from a fan base that I have created. And I love you guys so much for that. It makes me
Awesome.
feel like such a special little witchy.
Yes, definitely. We love seeing your content, and like I said, you're consistent with it as well.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be consistent. You don't want to like oversaturate and overwhelm people, because it's
Right.
very easy to do that. But you want to be consistent. You don't want people to forget that you're there. You want to be like a gentle nudge each day. So I just try to like give a little piece of my life each day, just a little bit with you guys. So everybody's always involved. I love
For
it. I think
sure.
it's a great tool.
I think it was last year you faced Shane Hollister. Now he's
I
from the
did.
Black
That
and
was a
Brave.
fun matchup. Shane's
Yeah.
been in the game for a minute.
Yes.
You want to talk about a total legend, and it's always a privilege and an honor to step into the ring with someone who is that tenured and that good and crisp, right? You learn so much from somebody like that. And I had such an absolute blast wrestling Shane Hollister. He was an incredible opponent.
Yeah, you got the victory as well. So
I did. I'm
you're
telling you, it's
happy.
that magic. All these sneaky little pins, all these sneaky little holds. And
Right.
sometimes it's like, what's in your Rolodex? What's in your mind? Like, how many resources can you pull from to be successful? So I just try to have a very broad grimoire of
Hmm.
things I can pull from and change depending on the opponent, right?
For sure. You'll want a rematch later
Hard,
down the road.
Maybe, yeah. It's good to be a little unpredictable, and it's good to be
Yes.
adaptable, because if you have your thing that you do and you do it all the time, people can study you and they can learn how to overcome you. But if you're
Right.
constantly learning and you're changing and you're evolving and you're pulling from a million different influences and inspirations, you're very hard to predict, and it makes people like it makes it harder for people to defeat you. It makes
Right.
you a bigger challenge. Even if you don't have, like, a physical advantage, right? Like maybe you're not the tallest or the strongest or the biggest, but you have so much information that you can pull from to make yourself successful. So that's kind of how I've crafted my particular style of wrestling, is just being unpredictable.
Definitely. And I think that you also are unpredictable in terms of when you win championship belts. You had a big championship victory out of Wrestlemax in
I
St.
did. I had
Louis.
been attempting to win that belt for quite some time, but I kept falling victim to a lot of the
Hmm.
shenanigans from Nixie and Shaza. And then, the universe, everything just aligned. It all fell into place. She had no backup. She could not run. If she got counted out, she lost the title. So she had to face me in the ring. And when push came to shove, her back was against the wall, she couldn't get it done. But I did.
Yes.
And I hold that title so proud. I love it. I am such a proud champion. I cannot wait to make my first defense when Wrestlemax comes back late this spring.
Oh, not me too. And I know that you've also wrestled at the Turner Hall in Milwaukee, right? For WrestleMax. Did you get a
Columbia
chance to?
Turner Hall in
Yes.
Illinois. Yes, I
Oh,
have.
okay. Oh, I thought did you have a show there in Milwaukee for WrestleMax or no?
I
Maybe
have
I'm
never
mistaken.
wrestled in Wisconsin. No,
Oh,
that
you
is a
know
state
her.
that
Okay.
that has eluded me.
Oh, okay. It's probably me thinking it was a different venue. 'Cause I
It's
was
all
thinking, I was like,
good.
when I saw this Turner Hall, I was like, oh, well, that's in Milwaukee. I'm gonna go check it out. I would have went there and there would be nothing going on.
Yeah.
Now talk about you've made these appearances on promotions on the East Coast. You've had Beyond Wrestling, and what's some of your favorite matches you've had over there on the East Coast?
Oh my goodness. I've had so many. How about we talk about one of my favorite opponents on the East Coast? I love getting to get in the ring and mix it up with Ella Envy, because she's a little unpredictable too. She's
Mhm.
very good, but she's a larger than life personality, and she has such a big attitude, and like that can be very overwhelming. And I've really enjoyed the challenge of having to have match after match after match and see who comes out on top each time, because I think we
Yeah,
learn a lot from each other. And she's just an incredible opponent. I've had matches with her at PWF, the Premier Wrestling Federation in North Carolina. I've also faced off with her at Action Wrestling. She's definitely one of my favorite East Coast opponents.
that's cool.
Yeah, I enjoy a lot of my matches. I really made it a goal for myself to try to wrestle as many different people as possible, because as a woman in wrestling, it is very easy to get stuck having the same match with the same four or five people
Right.
all the time. And I didn't want that for myself. I wanted to challenge myself and work all sorts of people all over this country. So something that has been nice about getting to work in the Midwest and the South and Florida and the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast and New England has been the variety of opponents that I've been able to face and everything I've learned from them.
Definitely. You've had a lot of different opponents, so I
Yeah, I
can't
got to
wait
get
to.
out to the West Coast in 2025. That's my goal. I've been in
Yes.
Vegas once before, but I really would like to do a California or maybe a Pacific Northwest state this year. That's a big goal for me, to
Are you,
truly
are you,
saturate
yeah. Are you heading
country with
to
matches.
Vegas? Oh, sorry. Are you heading there for Mania weekend or
I am
no?
heading there for Mania weekend. I am wrestling on Poder Dos.
Okay. Nice.
Very excited. It will be Friday at noon at the FSW building.
Awesome. Awesome. Any opponent?
I'm tagging with Brittany Brooks against, I'm sorry, give me one moment.
No worries.
Man, I should be more prepared. I guess because it's a couple of weeks out.
Sure, no worries.
Um, I try to focus on the 2 weeks ahead of me. Like I'm always
Right.
aware of what I have, but I really, when I have big matchups coming up, I really just try to stay focused on what is directly in front of me in the coming
Oh,
two
it makes sense.
and then I can like reevaluate and see where I'm at. I can figure out what I learned from those matches.
Mhm.
Okay, I am wrestling. Let's see. Brittany Brooks and I are tagging against Joseline Navarro and Maya World. And I have never wrestled Joseline or Maya, so I'm very excited. I have wrestled Brittany in scrambles, but I've never had her as a tag partner. But we both
Right.
have really awesome pink gear. So I think there's like some good energy that's going to happen, good
Yes.
vibes. I'm really excited to see the chemistry we have and the challenge of Maya and Joseline. They're no slouches. Those girls work hard.
Yeah.
So should be a great match.
Oh, yeah. I think so as well. I mean, Brittany Brooks has just been stellar with all the things she's been doing
Yeah, she's
at an
everywhere.
early age.
You
Yeah,
want to talk about, we were talking about getting out, right? And how I've been working everywhere. She's another person who has really been saturating and getting her name out there. And there's just something admirable about that hustle.
for sure. She's a big part of the Dreamwave Women's Championship or division, not currently champion, but part of that title picture, I guess. She's in the mix. So hopefully we'll see you guys get the victory there.
Yeah, we're manifesting a big win in Vegas.
And then, you've also came back to Illinois. You were part of the Dreamwave Wrestling early on. We had these women matches before the uprising was like really forged. So, you feel like you were part of what would eventually be the uprising,
I do, but I don't because I'm not actually a part of Uprising and I've not had the
right?
opportunity to be on one of those shows yet. I do think that part of the reason for that is after I had been on Dreamwave a couple of shows, I realized I needed to move to a different region of this country and wrestle some different people if I wanted to continue to grow. So I've been a little bit out of
Sure,
pocket for them and I totally get that. That's not their fault. That's not my fault, just the nature of the beast. But
right.
maybe in 2025 I can make a return to Dreamwave. I know when they were having the scrambles for their number one contendership for that women's championship, I didn't get pinned in either one of those.
Yes, I
So,
remember.
yeah, you know, what's up? Maybe there's some opportunity for me in the future.
Yeah.
I do like what they're doing. Again, I'm all for women having more places to
Mhm.
wrestle and more opportunities. So I think that that's great that that exists for girls predominantly in the Midwest.
Yeah, I would like to see you get an opportunity there. We've seen another Midwesterner that we hold dear, Blair Onyx, and can you talk
Yes,
about Blair because I know she
we
came
can
from Black
definitely
and
talk
Raised.
about Blair. I am a huge Blair Onyx fan.
Yes.
Hey, we were just talking about hustle with Brittany, right? Blair is someone who has always hustled, and she has always known when she needs to go back to the drawing board and like reinvent herself and approach things differently and work harder. And like I said, I admire people like that. I admire people that are always working toward their goal and evolving themselves and just getting better every time you see them. And I think she's very special. I think what she brings to wrestling, not a lot of people have. You can't teach it.
Yes.
You know, we were talking about people that are born with things, right? Like born with my magic, like she is born with this charisma that you just don't see. You know, you have
Hmm.
plenty of people in wrestling who are very physically gifted or, they look great, whatever. But to have someone that truly understands their gimmick and what they're trying to do and how to project and translate that to an audience is such a special thing. And I just really love her. I think she's so cool and I love her gimmick and I love just seeing what she's going to do next. I'm a big Blair
Yes.
Onyx fan. Definitely.
Same here. I know you two had a match as well.
I've had a
You
couple of
so
matches with Blair. She's one of my favorite
yeah.
opponents. You know,
Okay.
I've actually tagged with Blair too.
Okay.
Big
That's
spooky
cool.
girls.
Nice. Yeah, so she's really just changed everything. So it's really cool to see where she's come from and kind of like take a darker tone with her character.
Yeah, well, you have to. You don't have to completely change, right? Because a
Right.
lot of us on the indies are still like fledglings, and there's no reason to completely reinvent just yet because we've not fully committed to the first thing we're trying or the second thing
Right.
we're trying, right? So you don't necessarily need to do like the full-on Jericho path just yet when you're on the
Right.
indies. But I really like how she has like this subtle evolution to her character where she's still true to what she's trying to do, but she's just ramping it up each time. Like it becomes
Yes.
more flushed out, more detailed, or like more dark, more spooky, or more lighthearted. Like she knows the different gear shifts she can hit. And I think we should all aspire to be like that, not necessarily evolve out of who we are and change it up, but figure out what that next level is that we're trying to hit and how do we add that next layer of dimension to the characters we portray in the ring.
For sure. Yeah, when she came out looking like that with Devin Monroe, I was like, oh,
You're like,
didn't
oh,
really
okay, who
take
are these?
notice.
Something ready to happen here.
Yeah.
No. And Devon is extremely talented as well. Like,
Yes,
you want to talk about another individual who really knows what they do and they do it very well. So, nothing
for
but good
sure.
to say about Devon.
And you had Mickey James referee one of your matches. So when you had Mickey James involved, were you like, how was like that having her involved and being a veteran? But how much fun was that for you?
It was a lot of fun. I remember watching Mickey James when I was a little bit younger. I just think she's incredible. She's an incredible coach. Prior to that match, I did a 2-day camp with her, and I had just come back from my injury, so like I was
Hmm.
still a little bit like cold feet and like gun shy, and she really helped me find my confidence again and believe in myself. And I learned
Hmm.
so much from her about just how to be intense and how to move with intent. I just think she's vastly underrated as a wrestling coach,
Yeah.
where she's really just an incredible human and has a great mind for this business. And anyone that can sit under her learning tree should take full advantage of it at all times.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially with her probably having a big connection to WWE again and not being as accessible.
Well, yeah, and just like her tenure, right? You don't typically find people that have her tenure and her experience that are that kind and giving with their knowledge, you
Hmm.
know? So
Sure.
it's something that's very, very special, and it's always a privilege to get that from someone, right? That someone's willing to share those
Yes.
experiences with you and share that advice and help lift you up. So, big Mickey James fan too. I love Mickey. I do.
Yes.
I really do.
Hmm. That's great. And you had Action Wrestling. Now, you had mentioned that match, that show. You had a big crowd there this year, and you also had last year. You had a big crowd with your match with
Action
Caitlin.
draws crazy
Yeah.
big crowds. I've seen
Mhm.
Action outdraw like GCW and Revolver and other big indies. I've seen them outdraw
Wow.
Dreamwave. Like I have seen
I gotta check
Action
them out.
easily put 6, 7, 800 people in their buildings down there in the South. They are, without a shadow of a doubt, the top indie in the Southeast.
Definitely. I know you and
If not
Caitlin
one of the
Marie.
top indies in the country, because how many people are drawing
Yes.
those kinds of
No.
crowds that are that rabid and that enthusiastic for the product, right?
No. Not
Action's
at all.
incredible. I feel privileged to be a part of it. I really do. I think Matt is an incredible promoter. He's an incredible booker. He has a great mind for what works and what doesn't. He knows how to make his fans happy. He knows how to keep his wrestlers happy. Action
Sure.
is really awesome. Like, it's a great promotion. If you've never watched anything from Action, I definitely encourage you to do so.
Oh yeah. I've watched
Yeah.
several of their matches, and you had the match with Caitlin Marie there,
I
and that was
did.
really exciting. You've had Billy Starks
I
prior to that.
did.
Yeah, so some
That
big
was like my
shows.
second match back from injury, and I wrestled Billy, and I was like, oh my gosh, pressure because Billy is just incredible, you know? It's like,
Hmm.
oh my God, okay, can I do this? And then it's like you find that you can, you know? So that match will always be special to me because I really just needed to have a really good match coming back from all of like the adversity, and that was
Yes.
a match that I definitely needed. So, and
Yeah.
Billy's a hell of an opponent, man. Like she does not stop. When she comes at you, she just comes at you. Like it is
Right.
rapid fire and it is a very tough storm to weather.
And that's why she's at where she's at, right? I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, that's just years and years of hard work and dedication, you know, and not getting discouraged or getting distracted, but really knowing what you want and being laser focused on it.
Right.
See her reach that level of success is so great because I saw how hard she was working, especially when I was doing work at GCW and she was there. I was like, man, like this kid, and I say kid at the time because she was younger, right? I was like, this kid really wants this, you know?
Hmm.
Sometimes like you watch wrestling, you're like, oh, does this person really want it? Do they really care? And it's like you watch Billie
Right.
and you're like, she loves this shit. So to see
Yes.
her hit that level of success is really great. Like I'm so happy for Billie.
Yeah, me too. Me too as well. And the Black and Brave Academy, I wanted to talk about them because you were learning under Seth Rollins. And no, he's no longer the freaking Seth freaking Rollins apparently, but Merrick Brave also. Talk about how they cultivate their brand. And now, I guess they're rumored to be with the WBID brand as well, or adding that to their repertoire.
So like just about the general experience there.
Yeah.
I would say that they have a very tough program with a very high standard, but that is very good and it is much needed these days. I think it's good that people can go to wrestling school and there's more access than ever before, but there still needs to be a standard that we meet, and Black and Brave upholds that, and I love that. Like, I don't think wrestling should be easy. I don't think it's something that anybody should be able to do. I think that if
Right.
you want to do this, you need to put the work in, and you need to put the work in to be good. And Seth and Merrick have a very high expectation of their students, but pressure is privilege. So, I love that their program is challenging. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but I came out so much better on the other side. And I feel like it just made me such a good, versatile wrestler that just had
Hmm.
super solid fundamentals and understood what I needed to do in 12 weeks. And like, yeah, I had to keep training and like we all get better with time, but
Right.
the foundation that they give you to build off of is so invaluable. Like, it's incredible. Like, they really have figured out the perfect formula to create superstars.
For sure. We've seen a lot of their wrestlers go on and make big careers.
Lots of
Yeah.
girls from that school. I think that's something that doesn't get the attention that it should is the amount of successful female students that Black and Brave turns out because there are endless wrestling schools with endless students, but it's still predominantly male most places. And Black and
Yes.
Brave has turned out many, many talented students. I mean, we were just talking about Blair and Maggie, Amina Belmont, Heather
Hmm.
Reckless, like, oh my gosh, there's so many of us, right?
Yeah.
So how many schools really have that depth in their female student pool? So I'm like really proud of us, Black and Brave girls.
Oh,
Big
yeah. You should be.
hustlers. Yeah.
I hope you all get together and reminisce sometime.
Yeah, we're buddies.
Yes, for sure.
Hashtag group chat. Catch a burger and a beverage every now and then together. So, but it's good.
That's
You need a
great.
team that supports each other.
And then when you're approached with a promotion, and do you have like an input, like, oh, you want to be a heel or a face? You have a preference and why? Maybe depending on where you're at.
It's definitely circumstantial and situational, but I think there's value in being able to do both. You
Hmm.
need to be able to show dimension as a performer, and you need to be able to show range. Because if you box yourself in and you only do one thing, or you can only do one or two things, then that diminishes your value
Hmm.
because it limits where you can be used. So I always try to show up with an open mind and look at my situation and go, what makes the most sense to do tonight? And what are the fans going to enjoy? You know, and there's a lot of inside baseball that goes into that, and we don't need to get into all of that. But I think that there's something to be said for being able to like assess the need and then meet the need, you know? So I'm
Hmm.
always down to just meet the need
Right.
or
And
do what needs to be done, right? I'm the conduit of karma.
mhm.
I bring balance to this realm of wrestling. If I got to be a good witch, sometimes I got to be a good witch, but then sometimes I got to be a bad bitch. It just depends on the situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, for sure, for
Mhm.
sure. And when you had opponents for different reasons, why would they be your favorite?
Just sometimes, like, they're just people that you get in the ring with, and it's like butter. It's very easy. It comes together very easy, and you're all on the same page. And it's not even speaking to a skill level thing, because there are times where it's like everybody is pretty skilled, but it's just like gears. And maybe there's no reason why. It's just the chemistry's not there. And chemistry is such a weird thing because I don't always think it's a tangible thing, right? So. I do think it's just the chemistry of working well together. And that
Mhm.
isn't necessarily because someone's better, or you're both good, or someone's bad. It's just some people make magic. And
Right,
then sometimes there are people you should make magic with, and it doesn't happen. And it's not because you're bad or they're bad. It's just sometimes it's not the right matchup. So I do think that it's just a very special thing when you find those opponents like Blair or like Ella that you always have magical matches with, you know? It's a
right,
special thing. And I'm sure every wrestler has those people that they just really enjoy working with.
definitely. And when you go before your match, like what is the emotions going through your body before your music hits?
I'm kind of quiet. I really, like I said, wrestling's very mental for me. I try to visualize what I'm gonna do. What's my
Mhm.
plan of attack? What's my plan? What is my plan B, my plan C? What resources do I have for tonight? I really try to take a moment and just become very, very laser focused because you cannot be distracted. And you have
Yes,
to be in control of yourself and your being. If you go out to the ring and you're not focused and your heart rate is going crazy and you're anxious, then you're going to mess up. You're going to lose, you know?
right.
So if you want to win and you want to kick ass, you need to be able to hone in. So I always just take those 5 or 10 minutes before I go out to make sure I am very honed in and I'm very locked in and I know what I need
Yes.
to do. So.
Yeah, well, I can tell that you are. You
And then
really have
after
your
my
head
match, I
together.
sit. I always say there's like sitters, and then there are people that pace like wolves, right? And like
Right,
I sit, and it's not because I'm like blown up and out of shape. I need to sit for a second, like to me
right.
to come down from it. Like I just go through the curtain and I just sit. Like I literally just plop down, and and people are like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. I just wanted to sit for a second. Like literally, I just wanted to sit." Um,
Right.
but there are a lot of people come back and they're very hyped up and they still have all the adrenaline, so they'll like pace back and forth and walk all around. But I've never been one of those people. I like go back
Mhm.
behind the curtain and I just like, yeah, I think I just need to sit for a second and take all that in that just happened.
For sure.
So I
And what?
promise you, if I do that, if you're on a show with me and I'm doing that, like I'm not dead, I'm not blown up and dying.
Right.
I just literally that is how I process everything. Is I just need to take a sit for a minute.
Hey, you know what? You earned it. So.
Hey, you
Uh,
know what? I find it a lot easier for me to collect my thoughts if I'm like grounded and stationary, and there's just
mhm,
something very grounding about sitting on the ground,
for
like quite
sure.
literally, right? So it helps me ground myself and pull myself in. I can process the match. I can process any emotions I have about the match. Um, I can process why I lost. I can process why I won. It's really just a moment to take it all in and be present, and that's
Mhm.
why I do that.
That's well. Everybody has their own ways of
They're
doing it,
rituals. Yeah, I
right?
have my pre
Right?
and my post.
Yeah. So with that being said, like who do you look up into the business right now?
Oh my gosh, right
It doesn't
now,
have to be a wrestler. It could be someone in the business as another entity.
man, you know who's really been very good to me is Colby Carino has been very good to me at
Okay.
PWF. I did not train at Carolina Wrestling Academy, but I was booked on one of their shows, and ever since I've started doing shows for them, I really feel like I've become part of their family. And Colby's just a great booker. He loves wrestling. He's got a great mind for this business, and he really knows how to cultivate talent and like bring out the best in people. And getting to work there has been one of the best things for my career. So I definitely look up to him in that sense as someone who's just done a lot of good for a lot of people in this business.
Oh, for sure. NWA
Overall, I
was.
would just say I'm very inspired by the trajectory of women's wrestling in general, how it's more
Mhm.
mainstream than ever before, especially because I'm a little bit older. And when I was 19 and 20, there was not women's wrestling like there is now. So
Yeah.
to see it and see the opportunity and the evolution of it is just really special to me. And I love that it's something that I get to be a part of.
Oh, for sure. I was been going to AAW for a long time when actually Seth Rollins was there as Tyler Brave or Tyler
I
Black, but and
oh my gosh,
Merrick
I'm gonna
Brave.
sound like such a little fangirl saying this, but I remember seeing Tyler Black wrestle at Ring of Honor because I'm from the East Coast. So I'm
Okay.
also making myself sound extremely old right now. So it's kind of cool. It was like a really cool moment to to be coached by someone that I saw wrestle like 10 or 12 years ago on the independent.
No,
Yeah, it's cool. It's been cool. I'm so happy for
for
him.
sure.
I love seeing like the evolution, how he keeps pushing the envelope
Yes.
forward.
He is, and he's also doing all the dramatic stuff with the creating that despise him, but it's great.
Oh my God. You know, I'm such a fan because I watched Raw this week on Monday, and they had that cage match, and I'm enjoying the cage match. Like, not because they're doing like the most crazy shit in the match, but just like the
Mhm.
emotion that was in that match and like the
Yes.
facial expressions and like the pacing was just so cool. I enjoyed it for that reason. And then just the cinematography of like where Seth is in that corner and the camera shot, you just see him, and then you see these big arms just snatch him and yank him out of the cage. And I'm
Yes.
like, this is great. Like, this is good shit. Like, I was so thoroughly sports entertained by that entire match and segment. Like, I was like, this is wonderful. I remember like texting my friends. I'm like, man, that main event was really great. Like, the ending was so cool. And I love how it accomplished so many things, but it just added another layer to that story and made it more interesting by infusing Roman into their dynamic, right? Like
Oh
it kind of
yeah.
gave it another life because it felt like, okay, cage match, like Punk's won every match, so every big match so far. So like where do we go from here? And it's like, wait, where do we go from here? Because now we have Roman. And I just really enjoyed how all of that came together at the end. I mean, I still can be
It
a fan.
was
I can still put like my fan hat on and really enjoy wrestling. And there are some people that can't once they start doing this stuff. So I've
right.
loved that I can still be a fan and just really enjoy. Or like even after
Yeah.
I'll have my match and I'll just be at my merch table and like watching other people and like I just get very into what they're doing. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, that move was so cool. Oh my God, I didn't see that coming. Like, or oh, that cell was so great. Like I really just appreciate and love professional wrestling.
Yes. Yeah. And that's great that you don't it doesn't die out for you.
No, no,
You
it
still have
doesn't.
that.
And I think that you have to stay a fan to a certain extent. You have to remember why you're here. And
Hmm.
if you get too lost in the sauce, then it's not fun. And
Right.
if it's not fun, then you don't want to do it. And the magic's gone. So a big
Yes.
part for me of keeping the magic of wrestling alive is still being able to enjoy professional wrestling.
Right. Right. And then enjoy kind of like the nuances because it's a long day too. Like you when you show up to the venue and then
Dude,
until
normal
the
life is
end.
so boring. I am so grateful I get to be a part of this business. Like, you know, you
Yeah.
go to your regular job or whatever during the week and you hear about all the boring crap people do, like on the weekends after they work their 9 to 5 and eat their TV dinner and watch their sitcom, right? And it's like to
Right.
get to be a part of wrestling is just so cool. It
Yes.
just adds so much, like, it just enriches your life, you know?
Yeah. I feel the same way.
It's so much better than like being like, oh, well, you know, I guess I played some golf and went to brunch or whatever. And it's like, cool, if that's your thing, do it. But how many people get to say, oh, I got off work and I got in my car and I drove 6 hours and I went to a new state and I got to perform in front of 800 people and like it was just it's fun,
Yeah.
man. It really is fun. And no matter what your end game is in this business, I think it's very important to just have fun along the way.
Hmm. And that's well put. And I hope everybody sees that and listens to you
Yeah,
as
dude, like
well.
you don't want that. Civilian life is boring. Like what we do is so special and so fun.
Yeah.
Like even on the hardest days, maybe even like on a day where your travel sucks and your match sucked and you got beat up and like everything sucks, it's still
Right.
the fact that you get to do wrestling is just one of the coolest things in the world. And like to normal people, like you are the coolest human being. So even if you feel like the
Yeah.
biggest loser alive in professional wrestling, to a civilian, you are like a superhero. So just remember that. Like remember that you're out there living your dreams,
Yes.
like doing this really cool thing and like other people are just being boring. You know?
I
So I try
know.
to remember that. Like
For
it's
sure.
fun.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know. The
know, especially
positivity
when we're
keeps me going.
older.
I can't get all caught up in like
Yeah,
any negativity or it just bogs me down. So I try to be very positive and very
right.
good vibes.
Yes.
Good vibes.
So I was going to ask you, what do you enjoy doing that's not wrestling when you get out of that sphere? Like, what are you doing?
Nothing. And I mean, I'm going to give some context. I
No?
enjoy sitting outside on the porch and just
Hmm.
listening to birds. Like, I know that's crazy, but it's very relaxing. I like to be outside. I like the fresh air. Or I'll go to the beach because I live at the beach in Maryland, so I love to just go sit and like listen to the ocean. I like to fish. I like to do things that I can do by myself and I don't have to interact with people because I work during the week and I have to interact with people. And then I do wrestling and I have to interact with
Right,
you all, which I love you guys, but it's a lot of people time. And
right.
when it's time, I like to kind of zone out. I like to read.
Sure.
I like to sew. I mean, I know that making my gear is still part of wrestling, but sewing is so great because you're like unplugged when you're sewing. You're not on your phone
Mhm.
doom scrolling. You're not
Right.
watching TV or anything like that. So it's just very like peaceful. I have very
Hmm.
peaceful, boring grandma hobbies. I like to go to the casino and play penny machines and drink Shirley Temples. I'm in my Meemaw era.
Right. Hey, well, you know what? It's playing it safe, right?
Yeah. And honestly, like I really like to go to the gym, not to sound like a meathead
Yes,
or anything, but I like it because it's just time for myself, like the hour or
for
two out
sure.
I do that. It's just unbothered time for myself. So a lot of my hobbies are centered around just having time for myself where other people don't need anything from me.
Right.
Which is good. I think
Definitely.
everybody needs to have stuff they can do independently. That's part of, finding yourself as a person.
Yeah, for sure. And how much do you take like criticism from like other wrestlers, like or even
I
like
don't take
praise,
advice
like
from people that have a life I don't want. That's
okay.
my theory. Like
Hmm.
and you should always be gracious and I think you should be professional and hear people out because you never know who's going to have a gem. But I also think that you need to be very like objective and you can't take everything to heart. You have to have a little bit of armor. And you also have to remember, does this person have a life I want to live? And if the
Right.
answer is no, then I mean, I know that sounds so horrible and so condescending, but if you take every piece of advice you get to heart, like it's first off, it's all going to be conflicting because nobody actually
Right.
says the same stuff. Like there are some common advices that wrestlers get, but there's so much range in that, right? So you're going to be confused if you listen to everyone for starters.
Hmm.
And secondly, you really have to go what does this person bring to the table that their information is valuable to me? Like, are they
Right.
tenured? Are they working at a place I want to work? Have they wrestled in a country I want to wrestle in? Like, is there something that they have that I could learn from or that I want? Because everybody has opinions. I mean, even I have opinions, like
Right.
we all have them. And they're valid, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they apply to you. So you just have to be smart. And one of my thresholds for it is like, does this person have a life or successes that I want? And that's how I rule it out real quick. And that doesn't mean I'm rude to people, but I do think you have to like pick and choose, with who you let into that space and who you are vulnerable with and who you really learn and grow from. I'm
Definitely.
gonna get
And
like
you
cut out. That's gonna be cut out and be like, Kaia Mckenna is an ego and doesn't want to listen.
no.
And it's like, no, like, but like seriously, if
No,
you listen to
no,
every single person, it's
no,
too
I
much.
agree.
It's too much, and you have to have a threshold for who you're gonna listen to. So my advice is to pick people you look up to that live lives you want to live, that have things that you want and can advise you on how to get there because they have it themselves, you know?
Yes. Totally, totally.
Yeah.
I totally hear you on that one. Now let's talk about the hardcore, the street fighting, or the death matches. You've been close to this because of your stuff with GCW. Have you had
I
to like
enjoy watching
sweep
it.
up? I mean,
I'm
I
not
mean,
ever
on the glass. Yeah.
I enjoy watching it. I don't need to do a death match. There are plenty of people that do it and they do it very well. I think Alex Colon is one of the best death match wrestlers out there. He is incredible and he can tell a story when he does a death match. It is a gift and I have always enjoyed watching him. However, me with this hair and these nails, I'm good. I don't need to
No,
go roll around in glass, y'all. Um, I don't feel like everything is for every person. You don't need
right.
to be everything. And the people that do deathmatch are special people, and that is their specialty. And if you want to do it and you're passionate about it, I support you. I will watch you. I will cheer you on as you roll around in glass and totally demolish people. That's awesome. But it's just not for me, you know? That doesn't mean I look
Right.
down on it. It's just, it's not for me. But I do
Sure.
enjoy
Sure.
watching it. And I do think when it's executed well, it can be very powerful. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm good. I ain't doing no death match. I do a street fight, a cage match, a plunder match, bring it on.
Right.
I'm not a death match witchy. I'm not. I'm really not, but I do enjoy watching it. I think it's cool. It's just a flavor of ice cream in the tub, right? Like,
Right. I mean, who can forget when you talk about the woman, the Sawyer Rack, and what's her name? I
oh
actually have
yeah,
a picture of
Sawyer's
that.
incredible. She's a different breed. Like I could never do what Sawyer does. Like
Yeah, and the Charlie
I
Evans.
love that about her, that she is so like fearless and unapologetic and like in your face. Like I think
Yes.
she is fantastic. So like I said, you know, just because something's not for you doesn't mean you can't appreciate it. And I
Of
really
course. Yeah.
appreciate deathmatch. It's just another part of professional wrestling, you know?
Hmm.
It's just like any other gimmick to me. Like there's tag team
Yeah.
wrestling, there's comedy wrestling, there's technical wrestling, and then there's deathmatch wrestling. It's just a
Right.
donut in the box.
Yes. Yeah. I know Shaza's been signed up for those, and it's fun to see her do it. But have you never bled before, or was that something you've done already? I'm trying to remember if you have.
I've definitely bled in matches, but not like from a death match, if that's what
Okay.
you're asking. No.
Yeah. Just a regular match.
No, like I actually beat the shit out of people, so we're getting hard weight here.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. And when someone comes up to you and wants advice, like let's say you have some of these trainees at shows, like they want to make it to where you're at. Like, what is your advice for them?
The first thing I tell them is to not to take advice from people that live a life they don't want.
Right,
Um,
like you
the
said.
second thing I tell them is that it's very important that you get out of wherever you are. You know, even if
Mhm.
it's just once a month, you need to go somewhere and be around different people and wrestle different people and interact with different fans, because that's how you learn and you get better. And if you're just wrestling the same people and you're in front of the same fans all the time, you're just going to get stuck in the fishbowl, and then you're going to get very resentful, and then you're probably going to have some drama, and it's like nobody's got time for that. So keep yourself moving forward and stay focused. Always look for the next little way you can kind of punch up. I always try to encourage people to like take chances, take opportunities, even if you don't feel like you're ready for them. Make sure you take them, because you will learn so much from falling on your face. You will learn more from that than you would from not taking the opportunity. So I always try to
Yes,
encourage people to like not be afraid and to take those opportunities. And it's okay,
definitely,
you know, to be in discovery mode and figure yourself out.
for
Find
sure.
your
Someone I'd like to
confidence.
see you wrestle. Oh, go ahead.
I said, just find your confidence, you know?
Yes, I'd love to see you wrestle Chris Statlander. I'm not sure if you ever wrestled her. I know you
I did
guys
not get
were
a
like,
chance to wrestle Chris when I was working at Beyond. Hopefully in the future, because Chris is just an athlete, man. You were talking about
yeah,
like Maggie, and she's very athletic, right? And it's like, how do you
right,
compete with someone who's that athletic? Like Chris is very athletic, just in the same way almost, right? Like just a total athlete. And it's just so different from me. And I would just love to mix it up with her. She's strong too, man. Like I've seen her like
Mhm.
just eat girls, right? So I love that. She's like, was she the first female graduate from Create a Pro too? I
Oh,
think. So
okay.
yeah, um, very, very decorated. I love seeing her successful at AEW too.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah.
AEW's been signing a lot of great women, so it's
Yeah, I'm
good to have
hoping
her.
to return to Beyond when they start doing their shows in Rhode Island. So
Okay,
we'll see. Come
okay,
back to my old stomping grounds up there. Beyond was
nice.
to me very early in my career, and I haven't really been back because again I moved. I was working more in the South, but I'm trying to hit back some old stomping grounds these days.
And what's your favorite venue?
Hmm. A middle school anywhere full of 10 to 13-year-olds because they're
Okay.
so rabid and they love wrestling, right? Like I guess like from an indie standpoint, you know, if I were
Mhm.
TV, I'd probably have like an actual arena, right? But if I
Right.
had to pick like on the independents what my favorite venue would be, I would say a middle school in the South because
Okay.
it is like the kids, man, they just love wrestling and they have fun and in like that specific age group, you know, high schoolers are like, oh, we're too cool for this, right? And like
Right.
elementary school age kids, they're just like real young, so like they may or may not be paying attention. But like middle school kids love wrestling, and it is so much fun. And if you want to even talk from like a getting better at wrestling standpoint, it is such a great venue to work in because you really get to see how fans interact with you and how
Hmm.
they respond to what you're doing and what works and what doesn't. Like kids are the perfect little sample size for that. Um, because adults, especially there are like different ranges and adults as wrestling fans. You have casual fans, you have people that watch it because their kids do, and then you have people who are very invested. So there's like different markets you're trying to hit. But kids are kids, man, and they're honest and they're gonna either like you or they're not. And it's so good to work in front of kids because that teaches you how to be a better performer. And I
Yes.
just, it's fun. Like, it's so fun. Like, there's nothing better than like being a babyface and all the kids think you are the coolest person alive or like being a heel and making a kid super mad. Like it's so
Right.
fun. And like there's a way to do it where you're not like being mean to kids. You
Mhm.
kind of have to be like a big kid yourself. Whenever I work
Right.
and there's a lot of kids, I'm always just like, man, what would I say in second grade that would like upset somebody that is meaningless as an adult? I definitely called a kid a booger eater at second wrestling, and I was like, go sit down, you little booger eater. And he got so
Nice.
mad. Like, but his feelings weren't hurt. Like, he wasn't crying.
Right.
I don't think you
Right.
want to like make kids like really, really upset. But I do
Yeah.
think it's fun to kind of play with their investment, and because they actually care, it's so real to them. I'd rather
Yes.
wrestle in front of 500 kids than 50 adults. No offense.
No, not at all.
I
Hey, I
just loved
mean,
wrestling when I was a kid. Maybe it
yes.
makes me think of how cool I thought wrestling was when I was a kid, and that's why I appreciate it so much. It brings
Okay.
that inner child back out in me to see them having so much fun.
Definitely. And then, are you doing any more of those convention? I know you did Starcast. Have you done anything like that since, or no?
I've not because I've been trying to wrestle every weekend and really just get
Sure.
very good this year. And not that I don't like going to conventions. I love going to conventions and I love meeting fans. But if I'm at a convention, I'm not getting better at my craft. I'm sitting at a table signing pictures. And for me,
Right.
honing my craft is my top priority this year. So I'm not saying that no, I won't be at any conventions, but it's just not something I've prioritized because I really would much rather take that time and perform for you all, you know?
Yeah. And
So
I think a lot of fans want to see that too,
yeah, and I'm would like to think I'm pretty good about being at my merch table and being accessible. So if you ever wanted to meet me, you can always come up to my merch table. I'm not going to
Yes.
charge you an arm and a leg for a photo. I know conventions can sometimes be a little expensive with that stuff. So
Yeah.
to me, it's more about the hustle and just getting out there and meeting people where they're at.
Yes, for sure. And is there any other area that you haven't been to in the country? I know you said West Coast, right? But
Pacific
any
Northwest and
Pacific
Texas.
Northwest? Okay, that's
I
where you
would
want to
really
head.
like to maybe go to those places this year and just really cover the whole map.
Okay. I know they have AEW has an all-in thing. I don't know if they have any indie shows going along with that, but that'd be interesting.
Sometimes they do. It depends on where they're at.
Hmm.
It's tougher with the pay-per-views being on Saturdays, right? Because like a lot of the
Right,
independents used to run on Saturday when the pay-per-view was on Sunday, but now that the pay-per-views are on Saturday, it kind of jams the weekend up a little bit. And then the other thing that happens, and this is not a slight on bigger indies, but bigger indies get the pick of the litter, right? So if
right,
AEW's running and then maybe like GCW or Revolver or like a bigger level top tier indie wants to run, like that's going to split the crowd. And then like the smaller indies, it's harder.
right.
So I do like those big weekends, but I think it's its own animal now because wrestling
Yes,
is so popular and there are tiers. There are even tiers on the indies. So
right. Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy to imagine compared to what it was like a couple decades ago.
Yeah, it really is. It's really cool. And like I said, I love that there's like levels to the independents, right? Like you have your mid-level, you have your top tier, and then you have like your juggernaut indies like GCW. But
Right.
it changes the game a little bit when you have these different tiers, and then you also have TV companies running on all the dates. So it
Yes.
changes the game.
For sure. And when you look at your career so far, what do you think draws people to you? Like as a wrestler, as a performer, why are people talking about you the next day and or the day of as well?
Mm. I would like to think that it's because I have a certain authenticity to my self that people connect with. Yes, I'm a witch. Yes, I'm magical and mystical and all of those wonderful things, but I'm also a real human being that loves professional wrestling. And I don't think people are stupid. And I think that they can pick up on who really likes wrestling and who's just here. So even if it's
Right.
not being said, I think that that is something I have in common with fans is I really love wrestling and I am not afraid to show it. And you really love wrestling and a lot of people really love
Yeah.
wrestling. So I think that that common interest connects us, like there's an authenticity, like I'm here for the right reasons. And I think fans know that. So I think that that's part of it. I could be wrong. I don't know. You're a fan. You tell me. But I think that
Hmm.
if I were still a fan, I would value professional wrestlers that I knew were there for the right reasons because they
Yes.
absolutely love this business. And they
Hmm.
don't have to be a part of it, but they are choosing to be a part of it. And
Right.
there's something really, really awesome about that. So that would be my appeal if I put my fan hat on. I don't know. Was that a good answer?
That was good.
I don't know.
I thought you might say something different, but it was good.
Well, I was trying to really think about like what it could be, because it could be like, oh, well, it's just like I am so magical and mystical and you can't help but look. But I
Right.
do. I think there is like an authenticity that people
Yeah.
relate to.
I
Um,
think you're a very sweet person too. So
yeah, well, I try to be.
yeah.
I could be your worst enemy though. It depends.
Uh-oh.
I could be the greatest person you've ever met or your worst nightmare.
Okay. We'll have to keep that in mind.
Depends on if you're
And
wrestling me or not.
oh yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's a good point. I know you have these upcoming shows, so just if you want to plug them, go ahead. Your next couple shows.
I will be at the Premier Wrestling Federation on Saturday, March 15th, be facing Leah Knight. And then next weekend, I will be at Action Wrestling on the 21st. I will be facing Notorious BBJ. And then on the 22nd, I will be at Focus Pro Wrestling in Massachusetts, and I will be facing Gabby Forza. So please catch me at those shows if you are local. If not, I do believe they all stream on IWTV, so you can catch them there.
Sure. And speaking of IWTV, there's that show. I wanted to ask you, were you part of that show about the day or the life or something? A life,
And I
the
would have
day.
loved to have done that when I was recovering from my injury. It didn't quite work out. Maybe in the future, I could just let people
Okay.
know my witchy ways. I
Yes.
really, what I think would be cool. Are you like, do you watch ESPN at all? Are you like a sports fan in that sense?
Yeah.
So I always thought it would be really cool if there was a show on IWTV that was like around the horn, but it had like four people in wrestling, maybe like a wrestler, a fan, a journalist, a podcaster, whatever.
Right.
And there was a host, and they would just debate like a topic or two from this week in
Yeah.
wrestling, and whoever had the best argument would get the points, right? I just think that would be a fun little like show on IWTV, and it would give you like your wrestling news, but it wouldn't be just like, here's our wrestling news. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be
Call
fun.
me IWTV, I'll host it.
Yes. Yes. Of course. We'd love to have you.
Or even like a PTI, right? Where it's just like the 30-second rundown of everything that happens. Like that would be cool. I would love to see
Yeah.
IWTV do some like more original content like that. I think that they have some really good minds there and they're fun people that enjoy wrestling and I want to keep seeing them thrive.
I know. And it was like crazy for me when I saw all the promotions on there. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Oh, it's nuts. It's so nuts. Like we were touched on that earlier, right? How couple of years back before IWTV, it's like you could, if you were starting out as a wrestler and you were green and you were new and you were nervous, you could go wrestle somewhere and nobody would ever see it. And it was okay if you weren't good yet. But now, man, like the pressure, because like so many people are coming right out of wrestling school and they're immediately on IWTV. So it's like you
Right.
have to have all of your growing pains in front of an internet full of fans that are going to ridicule everything you do. And that is wild pressure when you think about it. Like the
Yeah.
days of having like a no pressure match that you can learn from are just totally gone. So
I know. Yeah.
you got to be on top of it these days. Like there's no room for can't mess up.
I mean,
You
I
are
guess you
under
have
the
to pre-show.
microscope every time now.
Yeah.
Under the
Yeah.
IWTV microscope.
You're right. I guess there's a pre-show, but that helps.
Hmm. I really I love pre-shows. I love the idea of it. I know people have mixed opinions on pre-shows, like, but something that's very lost these days is kids show up and they do ring crew and they get an opportunity. Like, there are so many thankless ring crew duties that people do and they never get anything out of it, except for
Right.
maybe the other people they meet when they're there doing it, right? The networking aspect. But there are so few promotions that still extend that to people who help them out. And I just wish that there was more opportunity for kids coming up to get like a pre-show match or just a
Yeah.
tryout match. Or I know some promotions do like a YouTube show or like AAW does a live. And I think that's really
Yes.
nice. Or Action does Next Up. They do their YouTube show. And it's like that is how people
Mhm.
get in because you never know which one of those kids is going to be your next big superstar, right? So I just wish
Right.
y'all need to do better for the kids helping you out. You know, like let's bring back one or two pre-shows maybe.
Yes.
Maybe a little YouTube show. I
Right.
love the idea of like when people come and they give
Yeah.
their time to you to like set up the ring or set up your chairs. Like yes, they're paying their dues,
Yes.
but I love the opportunity to actually get in the ring and then they learn something from it. So hopefully the pre-show keeps making a comeback.
Right.
Like the YouTube show seems like it's the evolution of the pre-show almost. Like they tape it and they put it
I
on YouTube.
agree. I agree.
So more little like
Yeah.
YouTube shows because also it's just free content for you as a promoter too. Like more
Yes.
content, right? Content is king. Maybe
Yeah.
that's our parting note. It's just like take care of all the people helping you out.
One of the shows I go to, CSW, they do a Futures Royal Battle
Yeah,
Royal.
I mean that's good though
Oh,
because people need that. People absolutely need that. It's such an important part of our business. It's kind of fallen to the wayside lately.
yeah.
It's I feel like it's more thankless than it's ever been before. So
Hmm.
I love DPW is really great about that too.
Okay.
They have like usually like a little pre-show that they do. Um I don't know. I mean, I guess, I'm sure there are promoters and you guys have your reasons why you don't do them and they're very valid. But I just like the feel good aspect of, man, this kid worked so hard and he finally gets to have a
Yes.
match, you know?
I I hear you totally. It's like a movie almost.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
pre-show match does not need to be 15 minutes. Like, 5 minutes,
No.
we're good. But I do like it. I do like when someone works hard and they finally get the carrot, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same here. I like
Feels
seeing
good.
seeing like wrestlers. I saw. Oh well, they were just helping out. Now
Hmm.
they're moving up. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
A good
I think
feeling.
it's just the nature of the business, right? Like you want to see people move up and the new people come in and not everybody can be in the same spot forever. So just
Right.
keep feeding the beast.
And where would you like to go international? That's all international. How about that? Did you ever
I
thought about
would,
that?
yes, I would love to go to Germany and do a show or a tour at WXW. I love
Okay.
the idea of the Femme Fatales tournament. I love that they have such a thriving women's division. And it seems like it would be such a good experience to have. All the women I've spoken to that have done it said that it was incredible. So that is definitely something on my 2025 list is to go to WXW.
Okay. Hopefully you'll get
Yeah.
that opportunity. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
dude, I would
great.
love that. I think it would be incredible.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the women we see today, they're where they're at because they did stuff internationally.
You have to.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's definitely the next level, right? Like we talk about levels. It's like, how do you level up? That is the way you level up in this business.
for sure. And what is the strangest venue you've ever worked at?
Hmm.
That a strange one?
I've wrestled on the beach.
Okay.
I did the Beyond Beach show. It was really fun. Um, it was really fun. I wrestled Ashley Vox and she did a cannonball
Oh
off the
yes.
apron onto, and I was in the sand and I caught her. And when I caught her, it was like her feet went into the sand and kicked all this sand up, and I just got like a mouthful of sand. And I just remember
Oh,
sitting up from the cannonball, like, like that, like just sand all in my mouth. And it was kind of like King of the Hill, like pocket sand almost.
right.
And but it was fun. It was such a cool show. I would love to do their beach show again at some point if it's in the cards. That was really cool. It
Yeah.
was a weird venue though, right?
Hmm.
I mean, it's not like weird, like creepy or like odd or uncomfortable.
No.
It's just unconventional.
Yes.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm
I've
trying
been
to
to
think if there's
the
anything else where I've wrestled that's just like been weird and wild. But like wrestling itself is very like weird and wild and
yeah.
unconventional. So it's like it could have been like a weird thing that just felt normal because it's wrestling, you know?
Hmm. I don't know if you heard of Circle Six, but they do shows in like they're called barroom brawls. So there's no
Yeah,
ring.
those are fun. I've been to a couple of those. They're great.
Yeah.
Really like what Circle Six is doing. I think Mike and JB are extremely creative, and I love that
Yeah.
they just embrace their creativity and they don't care what people think about it. I mean,
Right.
more people in this world who do not care what people think about what they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. No, Circle Six is fun. It's always fun. Their shows look fun. They look like everybody there looks like they're having fun. Everybody wrestling looks like they're having fun. And
Yeah.
if it looks fun, I'm all for it. More fun in wrestling.
Yeah, I'd like to see maybe one day you'll have a chance to do one of their events.
Yeah, that would be cool for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you've probably never done something like that with no ring at all, right?
No, I
Right.
don't think I've ever done a no ring match. No. Mm-mm.
So,
Had lots of very traditional wrestling matches, which is fine.
Hmm.
but it'd be cool to branch out a little bit.
Right. Steel cage or
I've
anything
done a
like.
steel cage match.
Okay.
It was like a blood sport, but in a steel cage.
Oh yes, I
I
saw that
wrestled
one.
Killa Kate at CFU. That was really fun. Um,
Yeah, kind of like an MMA
mhm.
type. Yeah, that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, I enjoy blood sport. I think it's such a cool concept when it's executed right.
Yeah, I know it's crazy how that we had the WWE names coming to
Yeah,
do
yeah, I love that they have a
2004.
relationship where they can do that. Um, I think the best blood sport matches are the ones where it really is like that hybrid of like MMA style, but then like pro wrestling too. Like I love when it's ground and pound, like we're looking for submissions, and then someone's just like, "All right, I've had enough," and starts suplexing the living daylights out of someone. I'm like, "Yeah, this is so cool!" Like blood sport's just an awesome concept. I think when it's
It
done
is.
well, it's really cool. I really
Yeah,
enjoy those shows. They're very different and fun.
yeah. They are. They're really unique, especially people that are into combat sports. It's right up their alley too, as
Yeah.
well. So, and well, I appreciate you, Kaia, being on PWA. Unless you have anything more.
No, no, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it. We covered a lot of ground.
Yes, we did, and I appreciate you again being on PWE Report. And if you want to go ahead and plug everything, go ahead, your social media and whatnot.
Okay, I am on all social media platforms under the handle Kaia MCK, so Kaia MCK. So Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, all under that handle. My online store, my Good Witch Apothecary, is kaimckenna.bigcartel.com. We have lots of awesome merch. I just got these cool neon yellow
Right.
scapegoat beanies in, so they're in the shop now too. Check that out. And yeah, a lot like definitely hit me up on socials. I love taking you guys along for the ride.
I appreciate you again, Kaia Mckenna on PWE, the Conduit of Kharma. Check her out, coming near you. And